If you're doing a home project or you're doing some cooking, you might find that you have to convert between customary units of measurement. We have a special tool called a unit multiplier that does that. It's a fraction that's equivalent to 1 that we multiply by. Let me show you what I mean. Suppose that we're starting with 65 inches and we want to change those 65 inches into centimeters. What I'm looking for is a fraction that I can multiply by right here so that my inches cancel out. I'll put them in the denominator, and I want to introduce my new units of centimeters. I'm going to put those in the numerator. So let's go to our list of equivalences on page 4 of this unit. I notice that I have a fact that's relating those two units to each other. 1 inch is the same as 2.54 centimeters. And so I'm going to put that into my fraction. The 1 inch goes on the bottom, and the 2.54 centimeters goes on top. When I multiply these two things together, the inches will cancel out with one another, leaving me with centimeters as my answer. When I multiply that together, I get 165.1 centimeters. So that's my height changed from inches into centimeters. Okay, let's look at a second example. 1,540 yards. Those were rushing yards for this last football season. And so I want to change those into miles. How many miles did the football player actually go? So let's look at my list of equivalences. I have 1 mile is equal to 1760 yards. That's the fact I'm going to use. Which one would go in the denominator? Well, I want to cancel out yards, so yards should go in the denominator. So 1760 yards. And then I want to introduce the miles, and that was equivalent to 1 mile, so that goes in the numerator. Then as I multiply these two quantities together, my yards will cancel, and I'm actually doing 1540 divided by 1760, and that will be 0.875 miles. So almost 1 mile this football player ran during this last season. Okay, let's go to quarts, 5.3 quarts. And I'd like to change that into milliliters. As I look at my chart, I don't have anything relating quarts and milliliters, but I do have a relationship between liters and quarts. And so let's first change quarts into liters. So I'm going to put the quarts in the denominator to cancel out quarts. That was 1.06 quarts in 1 liter. And as I multiply those two together, the quarts will cancel with one another. And so that gives me 5 liters. And now I want to convert that into milliliters. So think back to my metric chart. If I've got liters in the middle, and then milliliters over here, I'm going to have to move 1, 2, 3 columns, or in other words, move my decimal point 3 places to change from liters to milliliters. So if I move it 3 places to the right, 5 liters converts to 5,000 milliliters.